So this is Max Drake. Just want to talk about Revit Productivity Tool help for visibility graphic toggles. Now I've got some that I'm doing here: room separation line toggle, room infill and reference toggle, and then just individual room infill toggle and room reference toggle. So let's just demonstrate those ones through here. So inside the room visibility graphics, you've got to type VG to get into visibility graphics. You then have to go down to something like L for lines, and you select lines, and you come down to room separation lines, and then you click that off, and then you do that. So there's that. The reason why I actually have the room separation lines is that I don't use view templates that much, and sometimes I'm tweaking them slightly so they work in some and not in others. And I find that I come to do a print set and everything's fine, apart from there's still just a couple of room separator lines, so I need to quickly go in and toggle. So if I type RR1, it just comes in and it does that for me. So let's just turn it back on, and if I type RR1, I can go through and turn it off again. So I have the same sort of things. If I just go RR3, this just turns the room infill on and off on its own, and if I type RR4, that does the same thing for the reference lines as well, room reference lines, and if I type RR2, it does both the infill and the reference together, on and off. Now this is in beta mode because there's a few things that are a little bit awkward here. One, depending on the monitor size, the mouse movements might not hit the right boxes for the tick boxes because they're quite small. So therefore there needs to be an adjustment sometimes on the monitor side. The second thing is the speed. When you're starting off at the beginning of the day, your computer's going very, very fast. It's going really lightning fast, and usually that has no problems. But when it's actually clicking on the lines, it's got to expand up and then it's got to go down that. And sometimes if it's going too fast, and this script can go very, very fast, it starts doing bits of the script before the pop-up box is actually opened in places. So that's an issue. So therefore there's a timer that you actually, it might be 300 milliseconds, 500 milliseconds. I've got it set at 600 milliseconds. So at the beginning of the day, not a problem. But by the end of the day, after you've been doing a lot of heavy resourcing, your RAM's gone and you find the computer slows down. And whereas you had no problem with these particular commands early on in the day, they might be one. So I need to have some way of being able to go and being able to adjust that time limit. A third issue with lines, if we just go into the RR1, you'll see that there's quite a lot of lines. Now, if you have a lot more lines or line types further up that might be up there, this may not hit the right location. And so it might be trying to adjust a wrong line type. Now, I can only adjust these once I actually put out into beta format and see what problems people are doing. There are ways that I can actually do this by being able to put in a factor so that you can actually put an adjustment factor based on your monitor to my monitor, if that is a thing. So it's just an X multiplier or Y multiplier, which might be something like 1.2, depending on how many pixels wide your screens are. So that can be adjusted. I've got another one which has got a setting so that you can actually go through and adjust those. So I will play with those later, but I want it to go out and be tested first before I start adjusting, because there's no point in doing just a couple of minor fixes if there's a major problem with this. These are ones that I just find room separators and room infill and stuff I find I use quite a lot because I'm doing asset capture and things like that. But if you actually have other visibility graphic ones that you're interested in, I'll be happy to get them feedback so that and build those. There will be charges for doing that, but I can actually design those to suit your needs. So thank you.